We start with a story from the curious journey of the people of Israel called Exodus, from their slavery in Egypt to their new home. And there's a lot of weird things that happen on this journey. And the most well-known, of course, is the manna from heaven. They're complaining about not having anything to eat. And what's nice about these stories is there's a sense that the narrator also has an awareness that this is a lot of weird stuff going on here. The great word manna, of course, means, what is this? And that's what they solely reacted when they see all this white flaky stuff laying on the ground. And today, the story today has the ending that they're at this place, which means, is God really with us? I mean, there's a lot of skepticism here about this journey. And in this story, of course, this time they're thirsty. They come to a place where there's no water. You've got to kind of wonder about that, as the people did. What are we going to drink? And Moses has got a near riot on his hands, and so he says, God, do something. So he tells Moses, well, take that holy magic stick that I gave you, the one that you struck the Nile with, and go over to that big rock over there and whack it, and water's going to come out. And lo and behold, that's what happened. There's a long history of whacking things, right, to get them to work. I remember an incident, this goes way back to when the moon landings were going on. It wasn't the first one, it was one of the few after that. And, live television, gajillion people are watching, and there's some piece of equipment, I don't remember what it was now, it wasn't working. And they could not get it. They were doing all the technical things, they just could not get it to work. And so the astronaut says, well, I'll do what you normally do. And he takes a hammer and clobbers the thing, And I have this image back in Mission Control of some NASA engineer passing out. It's some $1 million piece of equipment that he invented is being whacked with a hammer by the astronaut. Sometimes you just got to do these things. But the story ends with a theme here that is going to be carried over into our gospel. Water, something we're all familiar with, especially here in the high desert of New Mexico. The need for water. And this question, where is God in our journey? Now we have, of course, a long story from John, as you know, having just endured standing there for the gospel reading. And John likes long stories, very different than the synoptic gospels, which tend to be kind of short and pithy. But for John, these stories are almost mini sermons, if you will. And he packs a lot into them. So we have this kind of once upon a time nature. Jesus has been going somewhere, and he's tired. Hungry, thirsty, sweaty, imagine it as you will. And he comes to the outskirts of this town where he finds the well, and he sits down. And a woman comes to the well. And as the story is told here, we're suddenly given lots of information that gives us the setting. Many of you know, if you've ever had a Bible study or read any commentary on this, what some of the meaning of this is. First of all, a woman comes by herself in the middle of the day, meaning in the hottest part of the day, to get water. Normal procedure should have been a group of women coming early in the day and then going back to the village. So we're immediately clued in that something's going on here that's a little different. Jesus talks to her. She's astonished. First of all, he probably shouldn't be interacting with a woman by herself. And we're told that she's a Samaritan, this part of the family of that part of the world that was on the outs with the Jews, and they had nothing to do with each other, we're told. And they didn't touch things that Samaritans touched. So for Jesus to ask her then as he does, give me a drink. She's saying, wait, what's going on here? And so she confronts him, why are you doing this? Why are you asking me, a Samaritan woman, to give you a drink? Jesus then responds by saying, well, if you knew who I was, if you knew who this person is that's talking to you, you would have asked him to give you a drink of water. A drink of living water. And she starts engaging in some kind of theological debate. She wants to talk about religion. No, wait a second, this isn't right. You say we should worship over here. We say we should worship over there. And Jesus says, you don't get it. You don't get it. It doesn't matter. The day is coming, and now is that it doesn't matter where you worship. What mountain, what city, what pew. But those who worship will worship in spirit and in truth. Leaves the woman kind of scratching her head. What's this guy rambling on about? And so then Jesus says to her, well, all right, go back to town and get your husband and come on I don't have a husband. And then Jesus drops the bombshell. You're right. You don't have a husband. You've had 5 husbands. Now, even by our standards, that's quite an accomplishment. In the ancient world, wow, off the charts, right? Little rhetorical hyperbole, I think, here. And the guy you're with now isn't your husband. You're speaking the truth. You don't have a husband. And of course, she's decimated by this. And so, after a little more conversation, she goes back. And here's the line that she gives to the people in her town. Come and see this man who has told me everything that I have ever done. See this man who has told me everything that I've ever done, who has seen me as no one else has ever seen me before. And that, in fact, in this telling of John, this story of John, is the living water. Because in this event, Jesus has welcomed her into his fellowship. He's become her friend. I know everything about you. I know your whole past. I know your present. And I love you. It's okay. I'm not rejecting you. I'm not criticizing you. I'm not judging you. I'm welcoming you into my presence. And that provides the living water that Jesus has talked about in this parable. So she goes back to town, as I said, to tell people about this. And tell them, you've got to come out and see this guy. In the meantime, the disciples appear. And of course, they've got food on the brain. And so they say to Jesus, look, you've got to eat. You just went to town, got you some food, have something to eat. And Jesus, kind of like as he's done with the woman, kind of turns the tables on them and says, I've already got food to eat. The disciples are wondering, well, who's brought him food? How did this happen? And he says, the food that I have is to do my Father's will, to complete the work of God. Okay. And now Jesus introduces new metaphors. Your creative writing teacher probably would have agreed to having all these metaphors going on in the same little short story. But now he says, look around you. Look around you. The harvest is here. The fields are ripe, waiting for the reapers to get out there and gather it in. How do these two stories mesh? Are they meshing? Yes, John tells us, because at the end of the story, the townspeople come back and say, come and stay with us. And after spending a couple days, they say, now we believe that you are indeed the Savior of the world. For in this story, John has given us the entire gospel, has told us what it is, in fact, that God is about in this man, Jesus. He is coming with a word of acceptance to all the people. Most of us struggle with that to one degree or another throughout our life. I'm really not the person I wish I was. I'm not as good looking, I'm not as smart, I'm not as talented, whatever it might be. I've got things in my past that I really can't let anybody know. If anybody sees the person who I really am, oh my God, I'm done for. Hopefully most of us have had accepting parenting, have had good teachers somewhere along the way, maybe some good therapy, maybe even some good preaching that has helped us to understand that this is what God's love is about, to accept us for who we are. But what Jesus is saying is that this, in fact, is what he's about. Bringing people back into the fold, bringing people back into the family of God, with that word of acceptance, with that word of love. Some of you know that I came out rather late in life, kind of the classic midlife crisis. And I was already a pastor, married, had a family. Oh, it was kind of a mess, I can tell you. And on top of that, I also had just worked myself out of a job. The congregation I was in went through a lengthy process, which I encouraged them in, of deciding to merge with another congregation in town. And the rules of that are that when that occurs, the pastors of the two merging congregations have to leave, and then the new congregation finds a new pastor. So, in the midst of all this, I said, I think you better go see the bishop. So I went to my bishop to both discuss my need for a new call and for this new reality in my life. And he said, well, we really appreciate the job you've done, Doug, in bringing those congregations together. That's really great. But, what can I say? Rules are rules, and my hands are tied. I really can't do anything for you. I'm afraid I really can't help you find a new call at this point. Okay. A few weeks later, I went to see the bishop of what had been my home synod in Chicago, Paul Carlson, and he came to me, or I came to him, and we sat down and talked, and he said, Doug, this is wonderful. I know how hard it is, but this is a great event for you. I'm glad you made this, crossed this threshold. We know from your past experience that you're a good pastor. We'll be happy to help you find a call. That meeting with First Bishop, that was about as spiritually valuable as applying for a loan at the bank. The second meeting was pure grace, hope, encouragement, and new life. What Jesus is encouraging us to see is we have that power in our hands. The fields are ripe for harvesting. Look around you at the people that you encounter every day in your home, in your workplace, in your neighborhood, riding on the bus. You can give them that same living water. You can give them that word of encouragement, that word of acceptance, that word that says, you're part of this family we call the family of God. And in doing that, you are building the kingdom here and now. For Jesus really talks very little about what's coming someday down the road. The hour is coming, he says, and now is. And now is when the harvest is being brought in. Head out into the fields. Bring it in. Bring in the people of God back into this fellowship. Give people the living water of love and hope. Amen.